Welcome to today's discussion. Today we are going to look at Form 1 chemistry under simple classification of substances. But before we look at this discussion or lesson, if you have just come across this channel for the first time, kindly click the subscribe button so that anytime we do a video like this, you'll automatically be notified. And to the subscribers, we thank you very much for your continued support, because without you the channel cannot be growing. So under simple classification of substances, we know that matter in most cases exists as mixtures. Generally in chemistry we look at matter, and in Form 1 under the introduction we defined matter as anything that has mass and occupies space. Anything that has mass and is able to take up space is called matter. We said matter exists in three states. That is, we have the solid, liquid, and gas. But since we are going to talk about classification of substances or classification of matter, matter can be classified into two broad categories. It can be classified into two broad categories. It can be classified into two broad categories. That is, one, it can be categorized into pure substances. Number two, we have mixtures. But remember, mixtures can be separated too into pure substances. So we can also say that mixtures can be separated into pure substances. Mixtures can be separated into pure substances. To pure substances by physical means. And in this case, when we talk about means, we are looking at the physical methods or techniques that can be used to separate mixtures. Another thing that we need to know is that pure substances can further be divided into two categories. That is, one, we have elements. Two, we have compounds. Pure substances are also divided into elements and compounds. Mixtures similarly can be classified into two types. Can be classified into two types. That is, one, we have homogeneous mixtures. Those are mixtures with uniform composition. Number two, we have heterogeneous mixtures. those that do not have the uniform composition. So, in summary, we have matter, and matter can exist in three states, that is liquid, we have a solid, and gas. Then matter can be divided into two broad categories. That is, we have pure substances, then of course we have mixtures. So mixtures have variable composition. We can talk about variable composition. Then pure substances have what we call constant composition. We have pure substances, those substances that have pure composition. Mixtures can be further divided into two. That is, we have homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures. We have homogeneous mixtures. Then of course we have heterogeneous mixtures. Then of course pure substances, we have already said that they can be divided into two. That is, we have elements, then we have compounds. Talk about an example of an element we can give is, for example, hydrogen. An example of a compound we can give, for example, water. That is a simple summary of this particular topic, which is classification of substances. Now we are going to talk about how we can separate mixtures. A mixture is the one that contains two or more substances, or we can simply say a mixture is the physical combination of two or more substances where the substances retain their physical identity. In other words, the components forming the mixture do not change. Take for example, you have maize and beans. Put them together, mix them thoroughly, and then try to look at the mixture. You are able to see that the mixture contains maize and beans. That means even after mixing them, they do not change into something else. So examples of mixtures, we have a number of mixtures. For example, we have air. Air is a mixture of gases. We have blood. Remember, blood contains a number of components. That is the white blood cells, the red blood cells, we have the platelets, we have water, we have plasma, all those. We have also milk. Remember, milk contains the cream part of it and the milk. We also have things like various fruit drinks, Remember, fruits contain water, they contain sugar, they contain vitamins, etc. Then of course we have things like saliva. Saliva also contains a number of components. We have enzymes, we have mucus, etc. So these mixtures, as we have said, the mixtures here will exist either as homogeneous or heterogeneous. What is homo? Homo means uniform. In this case, we can say it's a solution that has a uniform composition. Is a solution that has a uniform composition throughout. That is a mixture that does not have layers. Another thing that we need to find out under homogeneous is that the individual components cannot be identified. Individual components forming the mixture cannot be identified. Examples of homogeneous mixtures, we can talk about salt solution. We have sugar solution, etc. Then now we can look at heterogeneous mixtures. And we say an heterogeneous mixture is the one without uniform composition. And also we can say, and the individual components that is the substances making the mixture can be identified. An example we can give, that is, e.g., we have, for example, salt and sand. We have maize and beans. So for today we can stop there. In our next discussion under the same topic, we are going to look at types or categories of mixtures. Thank you for watching and welcome to our channel. And in case you haven't subscribed, please take that 1 second and click the subscribe button.